So, hello there, and welcome back to another Night of the Movies video. I'm, of course, Spike Knight, and in these videos, I love talking about things, movies and TV, and whatever I want, whenever I want. And in today's video, I'm reviewing the Peaky Blinders movie titled Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. So, let's get into it, shall we? Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man follows on the story from the Peaky Blinders TV show, which ended with Season 6, which came out a couple of years ago now, if I'm not mistaken. And this film has returning cast members, Cillian Murphy in the lead role of Tommy Shelby. You also have Sophie Rundle returning as Ada Shelby, Tommy Shelby's sister, in this film in quite an important role, and you have Stephen Graham returning in this film too. Stephen Graham played an important role in the TV series, and who yet again plays an important role in this film. But you also have some newcomers to the Peaky Blinders world in this movie too. You have Tim Roth as the villain in this film, who is this British Nazi. You have Rebecca Ferguson, who many people might know from the Mission Impossible franchise. She was also in The Greatest Showman. She plays quite an important character in this film as well. And probably the biggest newcomer in this movie is Barry Keoghan. Now, I won't say what character he's playing, in case people haven't seen the trailers for this film. I'm going to try and keep this review as spoiler-free as possible. But Barry Keoghan plays a very important character in this film, and he is another new addition in there. So yeah, so you have quite a big cast when it comes to this film. Some returning cast members and some new cast members. And you also have Stephen Knight, who is the brains behind Peaky Blinders, the lead writer on the Peaky Blinders TV show. He wrote the script for this film, and that was one of the reasons I was interested in seeing it. I'll be honest, I wasn't terribly excited about seeing this film. I saw it in the cinema, and I went out of my way to see it in the cinema because it wasn't on at any of my local cinemas. I had to travel quite a bit to go and see it, but I did nonetheless, because I wanted to see it. However, like I said, I wasn't terribly excited. I wasn't counting down the days until the Peaky Blinders movie came out. And that is because of the way Season 6 of Peaky Blinders ended. I thought it ended perfectly with Season 6. I thought the ending to the Peaky Blinders TV show was perfect. It rounded everything off, but left it a little bit open at the same time. And I really liked that about it. And I didn't think that the story needed to continue. You know, I didn't think we needed to see more of Tommy Shelby's stories. When I heard that Cillian Murphy was returning as Tommy Shelby, I was like, really? I thought he finished off his character pretty well with the TV show. But then when I heard that Stephen Knight was coming back to write the film, I was like, okay, maybe it's going to feel necessary then. Because my biggest worry going into this movie was that it was just going to feel unnecessary. And that it was just going to feel like a kind of placeholder for the Peaky Blinders sequel TV series, which was announced a couple of months ago now. I was worried that this film was going to feel more like the returning cast from the Peaky Blinders TV show are just passing on the baton to the new cast for the Peaky Blinders sequel TV show. You know what I mean? I was worried that was going to be the case. But when I heard that Stephen Knight was coming back to write it, when I heard that Cillian Murphy was coming back to star in the lead role, I was like, actually, there might be something here. But also, I wasn't terribly excited because, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Peaky Blinders fan. Don't get me wrong, I like the show. I watched all 6 seasons of the show. If I didn't like the show, then I wouldn't have watched all 6 seasons, you know? But also, for me, the show was never quite the same once certain characters left for one reason or another around Season 2 and Season 3. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to give away any spoilers for the Peaky Blinders TV show in this review, in case you haven't seen it, and I'm also not going to give away any spoilers for this movie, for the Peaky Blinders movie titled Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, which is what I'm reviewing in today's video. But, without going into spoilers, you know, certain characters left the Peaky Blinders TV show around Season 2 and around Season 3. And when those characters left, the show was never quite the same for me, personally. So, I've been up and down on the show, kind of after Season 3, but there were quite a lot in Season 5 that I liked. I don't remember liking Season 4 too much, but I remember liking more of Season 5 than I expected to. And although Season 6 I thought was really dark and hard to watch at times, both in the lighting and in the themes that it explored. I also thought it ended well. So again, I would say I like Peaky Blinders overall, but I'm also not a huge fan of this show like I know some other people are. Some people think it's one of the best TV shows of all time. I personally don't. But I do think it is, when it worked well, it's a really great piece of TV. But there are also parts of the show when I just think, you're losing me here, and this isn't really my sort of thing. And like what he said, for me, the show is never quite the same once certain characters left around Season 2 and Season 3. However, like I said, I was interested in seeing this movie because it's a continuation on from Season 6, and I didn't think we needed a continuation on from Season 6, but I also wanted to see how they're going to continue the story. And also, I wanted to see Cillian Murphy return as Tommy Shelby. I do think he plays the character brilliantly. I think Cillian Murphy is a fantastic actor. I think he's an amazing actor. And I also wanted to see what Stephen Knight... I wanted to see what story Stephen Knight wanted to tell when it came to this film, you know? I thought he told all the Peaky Blinders story in the TV show, but apparently not. Apparently there's more to tell, and I wanted to see what that story was that he wanted to tell when it came to this movie. So I was interested in seeing it, but I wasn't excited about seeing it. And here's the thing. I really liked this film. I thought it was surprisingly great. I was locked into it throughout its entire runtime, and maybe that's because I saw it in the cinema. You know, I do think it helped that I saw it in the cinema, because if I watched it on Netflix, maybe I wouldn't be so locked into it, in all honesty. But the reality is, I did see it in the cinema, and whilst watching in the cinema, I got chills in a couple of moments. I was surprised by the twist taking place, and it caught me emotionally off guard. It caught me more emotionally off guard than I thought it was going to. Again, I've never been the biggest Peaky Blinders fan, but as somebody who isn't the biggest Peaky Blinders fan, who has only watched the show the entire way through once, I was sitting there watching this movie, and I was getting more out of it than I really thought I ever would. And I came out the cinema feeling emotionally satisfied by what I just watched, and also entertained by what I'd watched as well. Like, the film is dark and it's upsetting at times. There are parts of the film where I was actually getting a little choked up, you know. But the great thing about this film as well is it doesn't forget to be entertaining. I think what it manages to do is have that blend of emotionally moving stuff in there, which you want from this film, but also it is still appealing to Peaky Blinders fans, to fans of the TV show. You know, towards the end of the film, I was actually surprised by how much I was really getting into everything going on. You know, there's quite a few storylines. Again, not to give anything away, but there are quite a few storylines going on and coming together in the later half of the film. And I was, again, going back to that word, I was surprised by how much I was locked into and how much I cared and how much I was invested into everything going on. And I really didn't expect that, but... you know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't invested, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't care about what was going on towards the end of this movie, because I did. And I sat there, and I was entertained by it, and I also felt a little claustrophobic at one point. Again, not going into any spoilers, but there's one part of the film where I was like, oh, I'm feeling a little claustrophobic here, and I really like how the film is making me feel that. Plus, there are some great needle drops in there, as you would expect from something in the Peaky Blinders world. You know, some great needle drops in there from modern day rock songs. You know, many songs I haven't even heard of before. At least I don't think I know of some of the songs that are needle dropped in this movie. But the great thing about the needle drops is, yes, they are of modern songs, but they fit perfectly with the atmosphere and the feel of this film. You know, I think Peaky Blinders always managed to do that well, and the film is no exception. Even so, this is a period piece. Even so, this film is set in the past. This film was actually set in 1940. A little snippet of information there for people who haven't seen the film yet. That's not a spoiler, by the way. It's kind of revealed in the trailers that this film takes place during World War II. But anyway, even so, this film is set way in the past. there was some great needle drops in there of modern day music which fit perfectly with the sort of film this is. Plus, it's well made, it's well produced. You can tell that they got a bigger budget when it came to this movie because it's a movie and it's not a TV show. And there are certain shots in the movie I was like, wow, actually this looks quite realistic, it looks believable. They make the setting of World War II Birmingham look and feel believable in the movie, and I really like that about it. And all the performances work fantastically. Watching Cillian Murphy back as Tommy Shelby, I mean, again, I've never been the biggest fan of Peaky Blinders, but even I got a couple of chills when he put back on the classic Tommy Shelby outfit. Even I got some chills, and when that happened in the movie. Yeah, I thought he was great in there. I really thought Cillian Murphy played the character probably to the best of his ability in this movie, actually. Yeah, I thought Cillian Murphy was fantastic when it came to this film. Fantastic! But, to me, the standout performances in this film were Tim Roth. Tim Roth is the villain. Man alive. Every time he's on screen, he is magnetic. And he's one of those characters you love to hate. I thought he was easily one of the best parts of the movie. And also Barry Keoghan was very good as well. Barry Keoghan, I wasn't sure would fit into this world, but as soon as I saw him on screen, I was like, oh, totally buy you, in the setting you're in, playing the character you were playing. Again, I'm not going to give away the character he's playing, because you haven't seen the trailers, but it's quite an important character. I mean, no, it's not quite an important character, it's a very, 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 very important character, and I thought he played him, again, brilliantly. Barry Keoghan, whenever he's on screen, I'm like, totally by you and loving every second you are on screen. Now, the film isn't without its flaws, and to me, I could have done without Rebecca Ferguson's character. She's not bad in the film, not bad at all. When she was on screen, I understood the point she was playing in the overall narrative of the film, but there were also parts where I was just thinking, you're like the least interesting character, and you're like the least interesting element in everything going on. And yeah, I could have done without her. She's fine in the movie, but and then she's important. She plays an important role as well, but she's a bit underdeveloped, and I kind of wanted more from her. I wanted to see something else from her character in this film, and I think her character, put it this way, if she wasn't in the film, they could have found another way to do what she did. That's all I'm going to say. And also part of the film where it feels like this film was originally conceived as another season of Peaky Blinders, as another, I don't know, 6-episode season of Peaky Blinders. I think all the seasons of Peaky Blinders are about 8 episodes long, actually. Some might have been 10 episodes long, but at times this film kind of felt like it could have been a 6-episode series, and I'm not saying it would have worked better as a 6-episode series, but there was parts of the film I was like, okay, this feels a little episodic. This feels like perhaps it was originally conceived as a TV show, then they made it into a film when they got the chance, when they got the offer to make it into a movie. And again, I'm not saying it would have worked better as a TV show, but to me, it didn't necessarily feel like it was originally conceived as a film at that. But even so, I have my problems with this film, and even so there's other flaws in there which I haven't really mentioned. There are parts of the film which I think leave some stuff to be desired without going into any spoilers. Even so, I have my issues. Like I've already said, I came at the film feeling emotionally satisfied, and again, that's coming from somebody who's not a huge fan of the show, who's never been a huge Peaky Blinders fan. But I have seen all 6 seasons, and as somebody who did not think this film was going to be necessary, who wasn't really that excited about watching the film, I came out of it going, that film felt necessary. The story felt necessary. You know, I don't think it's a film that you need to see at the cinema, although I do think it helped that I watched it at the cinema, in all honesty, because that meant I was so locked into it. However, I can see people, yeah, it's not a film you need to watch at the cinema, and if you watch it on Netflix, I don't think you'll feel too differently than if you watch it at the cinema. You might, I mean, I don't know, because I didn't watch it on Netflix, but I don't feel there's going to be much of a difference in opinion from people who watch it in the cinema and people who watch it on Netflix. But I do think personally it helped that I watched it in the cinema, because it helped me being so engrossed in the film. And that's the thing at the end of the day. This, in my opinion, the reason I think it's going to work in the cinema, for people who watch it in the cinema and for people who watch on Netflix, is because it's a well-written and well-produced film, and it's well-directed. You can clearly tell this is directed by somebody who has directed episodes of the Peaky Blinders TV show. It's directed by Tom Harper, who has directed episodes of the Peaky Blinders TV show. You can tell this is a continuation of the story. It very much feels like something in the Peaky Blinders world. It has that same sort of atmosphere that Peaky Blinders had that same sort of aesthetic that Peaky Blinders had. And the great thing about this film is it felt necessary. It didn't tarnish, it didn't take away anything from the end of season 6. It actually added something on to the end of season 6, in my opinion. It actually made it feel, it actually continued on the story in a way that surprised me, but also felt natural. And again, when it comes down to it, the film was entertaining. It gave me what I wanted from somebody who had seen all 6 seasons of Peaky Blinders. Sure, there were some on-the-nose nods to the Peaky Blinders TV show, but those were also kind of understandable as well, because a lot of this film is aiming itself at fans of the TV show, so even that I can kind of excuse. And again, I came out of the film feeling emotionally satisfied by what I just saw, in more ways than I thought I was going to. And yeah, I thought it was a really, really good film. And I did not expect to be saying that. I thought I was going to come out of this movie going, that just felt necessary, and the Peaky Blinders story should have ended with season 6. But actually, I thought this was a really great way to continue the story without feeling like it was just doing it for the sake of it, you know? There was plenty to get your teeth into in this movie, and I mean that in the best way possible. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Peaky Blinders, the Immortal Man, I'm going to say that it's a, you know what, yeah, I'm feeling generous today, don't really know why, but I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Again, I have my criticisms, you know, I didn't really feel like Rebecca Ferguson's character was needed. You could have done without her in the film, but the new characters, for the most part, are all interesting in their own way, and all kind of, like I've already said, compelling to watch, you know. And the returning characters, I do think, are used well. Without going into spoilers, I really liked how they used Ada in this film. I really liked how they used Stephen Graham's characters. You know, they're not... I was about to say something then. But anyway, I'm going to stop myself with trying not to go into any spoilers. But I really liked how those characters were used. I really liked the way Cillian Murphy was used in this film as Tommy Shelby too. And, you know, there's enough in there for people who are huge fans of the show, and for people who also are kind of like me, who aren't as huge fans of the show as well. And I'd even say this, if you haven't seen the show, there's also enough in there that you know, you can get into. I can see people who haven't seen all 6 seasons of Peaky Blinders actually watching and enjoying this movie too, which is saying a lot, you know, which is saying a lot when you think about it. And also, one last thing, I was surprised by how little dialogue was in this film. This is not a dialogue-heavy movie. There's a lot of show don't tell, and I mean that all in the best way possible. It also makes for more effective storytelling. And yeah, I thought this film was gripping, entertaining, and at the end of the day, it was well written, which made for an emotionally satisfying viewing experience. And yeah, I thought it was much better than I thought it was going to be. I really, really liked it. And so, all in all, as what he said, and as I'm going to say once more in today's video, Peaky Blinders, the Immortal Man, is an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, that's it for today's video. If you have seen Peaky Blinders, the Immortal Man, please let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching this video today. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like and subscribe on this video, if you enjoyed the video of course. And look forward to many more videos like this coming very, very soon on this channel. As I've already said, thank you for watching this video today. And I'll see you guys again soon, but bye for now. Bye.